Well, here with more, Morgan Stanley's Erik Woodring. He covers tech hardware for that firm. It's good to see you again. It's been a minute. What do you make of what Sievert said? Does that match with what you're hearing and seeing?
Thank you, Scott. No, it's good to see you. So generally, directionally, I would say that that is accurate. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we're 10 days post pre-order period, but the early data points, when you piece them together, whether it's from carriers, whether it's from lead times, whether it's from some of the supply chain, is all pointing to what I would call a cycle that is better than we expected. I wouldn't call it robust. I think it's too early to call it robust, but early indications are positive for the iPhone 17 across the entire family of devices.
But what you're suggesting is that it's still very much a show me story.
Well, there's a few parts of Apple that are still a show me story, of course, when we think beyond just kind of the near term, but something that we can point to are, whether it's long lead times, whether it's lines out the door in person, we can say that the December quarter and at least near term demand, what we've seen over the last 10 days, is directionally up year over year. Quantifying that, I think, becomes a lot more difficult. There's a lot of moving pieces amongst all of the models, right? The iPhone 17 and the Pro Max appear to be doing the best early on. The Air, kind of the opposite story. But the Air is a device that you need to kind of look and feel and touch in person. When I saw it at the launch event 2 weeks ago, it does stand out for how thin it is, but I don't think you truly appreciate that until you go to the store, and then you have to decipher, do I give up some of my camera quality or telephoto lens for a thinner form factor? So again, I think we can say that early on demand indications are better, but I just don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're 10 days into the launch. We've been tracking lead times back to 2017 every single week, twice a week. I can find no statistical significance between lead times and the longevity of a cycle. So I just want to make sure we can say, good so far, let's continue to track the data.
Oh, I hear you. But the more I listen to you and sort of try and dissect the way you're saying this and your tone is, it's very measured. That to me suggests that there's a long way to go before some of the major concerns around Apple can be put to the side. We need to see a very robust upgrade cycle at some point, and we need to have enough of an AI offering that's deemed credible by investors that it helps sort of end the narrative that's going to hang over this name for a while, no?
Yeah, well, let's put it in context. So since the iPhone launch, Apple's up about $20. It's up about $20 from the day of the launch. If we say that every incremental iPhone is worth about 6 cents to earnings, and you capitalize that at a roughly 30 times multiple, what the market is saying is that fiscal 26 iPhone units, all else equal, are now supposed to be up about 4%, not flat. That's what the stock is pricing in today. But we want to make money. We don't want a flat stock. So we need to say, okay, what can happen above and beyond that 4% unit growth and or ASP growth? And what we need to get is a slightly stronger cycle and or excitement around foldables, which doesn't come for another year, and or some form of injection of AI into the story, which Apple, to be frank, has zero in the stock price today for good reason. So there is more that we can learn, and we can get excited about those factors, and those are not priced in today, but that's where the upside is going to come from. Selling an extra 1 or 2 million phones doesn't get this story exciting. What gets this story exciting is selling 20 million plus more phones and having an AI offering and having foldables come out next year, getting excited around that. That's what we want to look for.
Can they buy that injection, to use your word, or can they develop it organically?
I don't think they're going to buy. I think we've long said that we think this becomes a natural partnership. Apple is creating some of their own technology to power Siri and Apple Intelligence. Think about things like on-screen context that Apple has talked about. But when we talk about the potential for having a digital virtual assistant on our iPhone, I think Apple needs to partner. We've heard some of the reports about partnering potentially with Google or with Anthropic or with OpenAI. I think that naturally makes sense. And if we think about the kind of foundation of technology that those companies bring, it is a bit akin to search, where Apple has outsourced that and become the distribution partner for search and made a ton of money doing it. Now, I believe that ultimately kind of this next evolution of AI and some of those features are somewhat like outsourced AI, and Apple becomes the distribution arm of that, which you can monetize from both a hardware and a services perspective. Think of it like a CapEx light model, so to speak. But I think partnership is the way that they go.
All right, we'll leave it there. Erik, thanks. We'll see you soon.